Okay, I'm about 1 minute ahead of time, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. We've got a few participants that are here. I wasn't expecting a lot of participants for today. With this being the first day of class, you probably did not expect to have a Zoom class that would be scheduled for today, but I like to, number one, go ahead and begin that. Uh, get everybody started at the beginning of the semester with the idea of these Zoom, I call them Zoom classes. They're not really classes, but Zoom sessions that are available. The first thing that I want to mention is that this Zoom session is being recorded. It's actually being live streamed on the class YouTube channel, as all of our Zoom classes will be. That means two things. Number one, please do not share any personal information, because personal information will be recorded and published live for everyone, and recorded for people to see later, for the world to see. So please do not give any personal information. Save that for a separate communication with me. The second thing is that it is being recorded, meaning that in the event that you cannot make one of these sessions live, it's not a problem. You're not required to make any of them live. Some students don't ever make one, and that's perfectly fine. You can watch them on a recorded basis. They will be on the class YouTube channel. By now, hopefully, everyone has bookmarked that for this semester. It is located on the class syllabus, so make sure that you bookmark that and have that available. It is These classes will be on the live tab of the YouTube channel, the class YouTube channel. Okay. Now, some preliminary kind of stuff. A couple of you, several actually, have contacted me already about a couple things. Number one, if you contact me, please do me the favor and let me know what section of the class you're in. I'm teaching 3 different sections of Business Law 263 this semester. So if you don't tell me which section, then I have to hunt you down, and I've got a 1 out of 3 chance of getting it right the first time. It'll just make me much happier if I know where to look to begin with. So please let me know when you do. Secondly, if you contact me, uh, let me know who you are. Don't just say, I got a text message today and said, hey, professor, I'm in your business law class and I have this question. Well, who is this random person? I like to know. It's just, I guess it's not critical, but I don't want to be communicating all the class secrets to people not in the class, right? So, please go ahead and do me the courtesy of identifying yourself to me. My contact information, dcartwright, DCARTWRI at jeffersonstate.edu. Perfectly fine. That works well. Occasionally, you have problems getting it from a remote computer. So my backup, dcartwright at gmail.com, is also a good one to send it to me. In fact, if I were you, if you were going to send me an email, I would send to one and carbon copy the other. Send it to both email addresses. My telephone number is 205-222-5900. I prefer text messages. I can respond to those when I can, not necessarily right away, but I will respond to those eventually. And you can feel free to contact me there pretty much at any time. My phone doesn't ring in the middle of the night, so I won't be disturbed if you send me a late text message with that. Um, let's see, exam schedule. September 3rd is our first exam, and it is on a Wednesday because every single one of our exams are on Wednesdays. Why? So you don't forget them. I have students who have missed exams before, and if they're always on Wednesday, then I'm sorry, you just need to know. Put that on your calendar, along with bookmarking the class YouTube channel so that you always have that. Um, as I said, these Zoom classes, totally optional. You do not have to attend. You're welcome to attend, especially if you have questions of a general nature related to the subject material. That's what they're for mainly. After today, these Zoom classes will be fairly short. Um, they may be 5 or 10 minutes. And if there's no questions that are asked of me by any of the students. I'll give you some tips about, hey, this is what you should be doing to study for the next exam. Make sure that you understand the difference between comparative negligence and contributory negligence. Make sure that when you think about it, examine the consequences and see if you can figure out what difference it would make in the outcome if you were in a jurisdiction that used contributory negligence, or what difference does it make if you were in a jurisdiction that used comparative negligence. Those are the kind of tips that I'll give to you for purposes of the Zoom sessions that take place. Again, it will be recorded. It's streamed live on the class YouTube channel, as this one is right now, and it's recorded there, so you can look at it at any point between then and the class. Exams will be mainly true, false, probably. I reserve the right to change that, but I've done that in the past. I may make some essay questions. I have 121 students, so I don't necessarily want to grade 121 essays for every week. So you may not have that, but short answer questions, maybe I'll throw that in there. Let me see if I can pull this up kind of quickly. I'm going to share my screen with you. Let me make it as a student view so that we can kind of go over what what it looks like and kind of where you're going to be going this semester. Okay, I think this is the 11556 class. They're all identical at this point, so they all should look pretty similar if not identically similar to this. The announcements you'll see, I will be a frequent poster to your announcements. Anytime that I'll have something new to tell you about, I will include that in your announcements. So make sure you check that. I understand that that is also emailed to you. I also understand further that you have the option to opt in for your emails to be for you to get a notification if you get an email. Highly recommend you do that. Highly recommend you do that. That way you don't miss things and announcements and things like that. At some point during the semester, I'll have a student or more than one will say, well, I didn't know we had this. And I'll say, gee, I posted on the announcements. Should have gotten an email. Well, I didn't check my email until, sorry, that's not a me issue. That's a you issue. So you need to be sure to check that. Secondly, modules, that's where the sum and substance of the class materials are going to be contained. First of all, your syllabus and your schedule. I actually have your schedule in your syllabus as well. But if you click on the syllabus link, I highly recommend that you read all of this from start to finish. I give you a long time. Today's the 18th. The first exam is not until the 3rd of September. So we have over 2 weeks. You have plenty of time to review this. We're going to have 10 weekly exams. We're going to have a final exam worth 200 points. I will allow you to drop your two lowest grades on your exam. And I'm even super nice because if you miss an exam up to two, I don't need to have a medical excuse or an excused absence or whatever. I don't want to know. I don't need to know your personal information. Your exam, the missed exam is excused. What happens is whatever grade you make on the final exam, it's a 200-point exam. If you make 160, that's 80%. That 80% will go and substitute for your missed exam, up to two of those. In addition, you can drop your two lowest grades. So really, you kind of got a leeway of up to like four kind of weekly exams. Final exam always counts. Cannot be dropped. Cannot be dropped. What if I miss that it's on December 10th and I forget because we haven't had a Zoom class in a while and I'm out of the habit of going to taking these weekly exams? What if I miss it? Well, you get a zero. Zero out of 200. That will damage your grade. That'll damage anybody's grade. Do not miss that. Put that down on your calendar right now. In fact, whatever calendar you use, put down every single exam date minimum, September 3rd, the 10th, the 17th, the 24th, etc., through the end of the semester, including your final exam. At a minimum, put that down. For the Zoom classes, I will tell you this. I'm a lawyer. That's my day job. I get busy sometimes. I travel sometimes. Sometimes it's a last minute thing. I don't have any control over whether um, Judge Bostic decides to do something, or another judge, Judge Proctor, decides to set a conference, status conference. I'll have to be there. So even if the Zoom class was set at that same time or something similar, so the Zoom classes may be modified. The schedule shows. I'm gonna scroll down and show you that, and I'll come back up here. Uh, you've got the Zoom class, like today's Zoom class, scheduled at 6, August 28th at 12 p.m. And I varied them 6, 12, 5, 11:30. There's a couple of them on Saturday morning. I've just varied it different times of the day. Some students work. I have got some students from other states in other time zones this semester. So for that reason, just to give everybody an opportunity to appear on some of them at least, I varied the times. Now, having said that, September 19th at 11:30, I may change that. This is revision 0. It was updated. I did it a week ago, August 11. Revision 1 will be when I make the first change. So keep up with that as well. But I do recommend you put those on your calendar as well. Now, exams themselves. I told you about how they're graded. Now let's talk about the exams and what they're about. This is a hard class. It's a difficult class. A lot of people take the class thinking it's going to be a repeat of high school civics or something of that nature. It ain't even close. Not even close. But, I'm going to do well because I make flashcards and things. Nope. If that's your idea and that's where you think it's going to start and finish, you're not going to do well. You have to learn how to apply law. Frankly, I don't know all the laws, but I can take a law, analyze it, look at the facts of a situation, and apply the law to the facts of the situation and understand what the law is and what the exposure is or what the rights are or what the remedies are. And that's the kind of thing you're going to have to do all semester long. I'll start with exam one. You probably won't be happy with me with exam one and your grade, and maybe not exam two, but by exam three and four, you'll start to get to figure it out. It just won't be enough for you to know that uh, in order for a tort to exist, there must be a duty, and the duty must be breached, and that breach must uh, be the causation of some damages. You've got to look at it and you say, well, let's see. John was driving down the road. Did he owe a duty? Yeah, I guess he owed a duty to the people riding on the road on the other side to drive safely. Did he breach that duty? Well, he was driving 80 miles an hour on Valleydale Road in a 45-mile-an-hour zone, and he ran a red light. So yeah, he breached that duty, or he broke that promise. This is kind of what that means. Uh, did it cause any damages? Well, no, it didn't cause any damages because he kind of got away with it. Nobody wrecked. He didn't hit anybody, and he made it to his class on time, which is what he was trying to do. Well, was there a tort? No, there wasn't a tort. So you may understand the definition of tort, but unless you can apply it to facts like that, you're not going to do well in the class. People say, well, how do I study? I don't know. I've got a video on it. It's on the class YouTube channel. I do my best guess at how you study, but the reality is everybody's different in this class on how you study. It's not a memorizing kind of thing, though. That's not the kind of class that it is. The exam questions are largely, not all of them, but largely hypothetical situations. And you have to examine that hypothetical situation and analyze it, and then figure out what law applies, and then figure out what the law means, and then what the law means as applied to those facts. It's not easy. It's a difficult class. Having said that, a lot of my students make good grades in the class. I do have that drop the two lowest grades. That usually helps. Occasionally during the semester, I'll throw a bonus video uh, on the announcements and give you a link to it, and have a bonus quiz where you can pick up 5 or 10 bonus points. You don't have to do it, but a lot of students do it. I've had semesters before where somebody's picked up 50 extra bonus points during the semester, and that's a letter grade. It's half a letter grade by itself. Um, those are kind of things that you need to be really, really sure that you take advantage of if you can. Okay. Missed exam policy. There's the class YouTube channel, youtube.com/at Professor Cartwright. Pretty easy to remember. Go to it, bookmark that page. You will have live classes there. You'll have other recorded material there, etc. Okay. I guess the only other thing I want to mention on the syllabus is the artificial intelligence policy. Guys, I understand. I use Claude, I use Grok, I use Microsoft Copilot, I've used ChatGPT. I've got two devices. I'm actually recording this with one of them called Plaud, Plaud. I use it every day. I use it with Lexis. Lexis has a co-counsel element. I understand it. I understand what its limitations are, and where the issues may lie. One of my students was expelled for using it. It is a violation in this class to use artificial intelligence to answer questions. Why? Because you got to learn it first. You can't just do this and not understand. I did another analysis with AI earlier today on one of my problems. Got it wrong. It just missed it. Well, you know what? I don't mind somebody using AI if AI was always right. It's not. You need to understand when it's right and when it's wrong. So for that reason and others, It is prohibited in this class. So that's the only other thing that I wanted to mention on that. Um, Modules. We'll go back to modules. This is where you're going to get all the information about the class. You'll have all the exam materials, and they're broken down. Exam one materials on courts and alternative dispute resolution. You got trial court, state court system, courts and ADR. I think that's a PowerPoint. These are handouts that I've done, and then these are lectures. These I'm not sure if they're going to be available. I do have them in my studio. I'll have links to them available if they don't work properly here. But this is where your exam comes from. It doesn't come from the textbook. I haven't opened a textbook in more than 10 years in this class. You know, I'm an old lawyer. I've been around a long time. I've been doing this kind of stuff in real life for a long time. I'm not saying I'm any brighter than the textbook authors, but I am saying that I've experienced this firsthand. And because of that, I'm going to teach it the way that I know. I'd rather tell you how a non-compete contract was interpreted in Judge Conwell's court in Shelby County, or how Judge Acker in federal court determined a fraud case under state law in federal court. Applied state law, but it was a federal court case. It's a lot more interesting, I think, and I know it better to do it that way. So you see, exam one materials. This is where your exam's going to come from, not the textbook. Exam two, Lebec versus McDonald's. Guess what isn't in the textbook? At least the last time I knew, Lebec versus McDonald's. So it's not even in the textbook. This is all the materials that are provided by me. A video and a handout and an analysis of that, and then a discussion of comparative versus contributory negligence, and so on. Exam three materials, you see all that. Exam 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At the end of October or the beginning of November, we'll have our last weekly exam. It will be on small business or business entities. At that point, the month of November, and I know we've got Thanksgiving weekend there, but the entire month of November and the first part of December, you will have 4 different sections to cover. 2 on contracts. One is on contract formation, and one is on contract breach and remedies, and 2 more on employment law. One of them is on employment law in general, and the other is on employment law discrimination. Those 4 areas will all be on the final exam. There are no exams, I think, after October 29th. No exams until the final exam. So the month of November is, you've heard of No Shave November. It's No Exam November in this class. If you have an exam, it'll be a bonus quiz. December 10th, you will have all of these areas: employment law, contract, contract breach, contract formation, breach, etc., employment law, employment discrimination. All of those things will be on the final exam, December 10th, Wednesday, December 10th. It's on a Wednesday. Exams, when I post them, will be in the quizzes section right here. None of them are available because I haven't posted any yet. I think UJA is going away, I think. We'll figure that out. 2 other things. One is, I understand that course materials, which should contain the link to the textbook, the e-textbook. I think that's correct. Once it pulls up. On mine, it pulls up fine, but I understand a student had an issue with it and it may not be set up correctly yet or whatever. Yeah, it's not set up. I don't know why, but it's on mine. It actually is. It will be. Again, don't worry about it. The first three exams at least. So, you know, you got more than a month to worry about this. And even then, I don't get any questions from the textbook. So whatever. The second thing, I'm going to post probably later today an attendance verification quiz. It'll be based upon the uh, syllabus and maybe some things I've talked about in this video. You will need to take the attendance verification quiz or you will be dropped from the class. I have no choice. It's not my deal. I have to drop you from the class if you don't take it. It's not posted yet, so you don't have to worry about it just yet. I'll let you know again with the announcement and by email. Final note, and then I'll open it up and see if any of you have any questions after I have just rambled on as quickly as I can. Final note. I told you that I travel quite a bit and also have a busy schedule. I work out of two different offices. I'm of counsel with a firm. I have my own practice, and I'm in two different locations. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to Ohio, and I'll be there until next Tuesday. So for a week, I'll be available, but do not be surprised if communications are delayed. I've got things going on, and then two of the days will be travel days where I'm pretty much going to be out of commission Tuesday, tomorrow, and next Monday completely. So don't fret if you don't hear back from me right away. I'll get to it, I promise. And but I just wanted to let you know. And then when I get back, I'm getting back on the 26th. 2 days later, I think that's right. 2 days later, we have a Zoom class, and that Zoom class, I will talk to you about exam one, and I'll go ahead and take a quick look at exam two as well, just so that you can know sort of what to look for that exam. I won't have another Zoom class before exam two, but I'm going to have one right after Zoom after exam two. Um, and that's the one that I highly recommend you make sure that you attend or watch, because I'm going to go over every question on the exam one and exam two, and I'm going to tell you why the answers are right and why the answers are wrong, and go through. And a lot of students have told me over the years that is the very best, most helpful class that they've had in my class. So make sure you do that. And I don't want to do it after the first exam, but I will do it after the second exam. Whew, okay. You may need to go back, or you may need to watch this on record and slow down the speed so that you get everything. Hopefully, you took some notes. Let me see. I think somebody's got. Do I have some chat session? Yeah, there's a question there about the book. I've just covered that, so don't worry about that. Again, textbook. No questions come from the textbook. So yeah, every question I have comes from the material that I provided. So worry about the textbook. You know, if I don't have it up, and I doubt it'll be up before I leave tomorrow, I'll get it back next week sometime. Um, any questions that any of you have? Oh, I'm Daryl Cartwright, by the way. I'm your teacher. I've taught this, I think, for 15 years now. I teach in the fall and the spring and take the summer off. That's what I did this year. Um, Sometimes my bonus quiz might be something like, watch this video of my daughter performing. She's an actor. She's at Universal Studios in Japan right now, working for them. But sometimes I like to show her off. Then other times it'll be something related to my practice that relates to the material. All the bonus quizzes will be non-specific to the class. They'll be extra things. That's why you call it a bonus. Any questions from you guys? Feel free to speak up now. I would say, or forever hold your peace, but that's not true. You can ask me questions at any time.
So I've got a question about. I have no idea if my audio is going.
My volume may be real low. Hold on a minute. I've got it. Can you say that again? Question again?
I didn't even know if I was coming through or not. Um, so my question is about the exams. I was wondering about how how long are they, or are they more like really deep exams where it's like given a scenario and you have to think about it real hard, or if it's just like a bunch of things that you have to think lightly about?
Good question. The weekly exams will usually be between 10 and 20 questions. And just depending upon how many questions require that kind of thinking will determine how long the exams are. They'll all be less than an hour, all of them,
Okay.
except the final exam. Final exam, I think, is a 90-minute exam. The weekly exams may be 30 or 40 minutes, limitation of 30 or 40 minutes. It may be a kind of thing that you can get done in 8 minutes,
Hmm.
but it also may allow you to think, look up material. Listen, I don't mind students looking at their material, looking at their notes. I highly recommend taking notes, even though, you've got lectures that are online and PowerPoint slides and handouts and things. I highly recommend taking notes, using those notes, using the slides, using the handouts. I don't mind that at all. And then looking at the questions on the exam and taking it. I'm not going to give you so much time on each exam. You've got time to, okay, I haven't done anything this entire week, so now I'm going to teach myself tort law. You won't have that much time, but you'll have enough time to, go back and let me double check this thing. I'm not really sure if res ipsa loquitur meant that the burden of liability is on the defendant or the plaintiff when we began. Let me go back and check my notes. I remember taking notes on that. Whatever. Chat question: are the questions timed on the exam, or does it end when we submit it? Well, both. Um, when you submit it, it ends, obviously. If you exceed the time limit, then it'll submit for you automatically. So the answer to that's both. Let's see. Will the assignments and exam populate in our Canvas calendar? I don't know. I hope so. But again, there are no assignments in the class. None. Zero. No assignments. None. No homework. Yay. You have weekly exams that start September 3rd and continue every single week. I don't care if it's on your calendar or not. You can put it on your calendar because it's every Wednesday. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of sympathy if it doesn't show up on your Canvas calendar because this has got to be the easiest possible thing to keep up with. And if you haven't learned to keep a calendar by now, you need to learn to keep a calendar. If nothing else for this class, go to Google, get a Gmail, get a calendar or whatever. There'll be the 3rd, the 10th, the 17th, the 24th, I think October 1, 8, 15th, whatever the Wednesday is, it'll be there. But hopefully it will populate on the Canvas calendar. I just don't know whether it will or not. So uh, I use tech. I love tech, but I teach part time here, and so I'm not necessarily as conversant with the technology as some of the full-time professors are with respect to Canvas and things of that nature. I will do my best to take care of you, though. I will say that. And if there's a way that I can put it on Canvas calendar and it shows up, I think it will. I think what happens is when I post the exams and I do a due date for the exam, I think it automatically populates on your Canvas calendar. I just didn't want to say that for sure because I don't know, and I don't want to mislead you and say, "Oh yeah, it'll be on there," and then all of a sudden September 3rd come around and you say, "Wait a minute, it wasn't on Canvas calendar." Well, you know what? It's on your calendar in your Canvas on this. I've given you a schedule for the entire class. You just click on your syllabus at any time you want, and you scroll down, and guess what? There it is. That tells you exam one is Wednesday, September 3rd. Exam two is Wednesday, September 10th, etc. So I'm not going to have a lot of sympathy for you if you miss that. Okay, I'm looking on the chat. I don't think I see any other class questions on chat. Are there any live questions, any voice questions, or any other chat questions?
Hmm. Think,
Oh,
can you hear me?
yes, I can.
I have a question. If we miss a Zoom, like a lecture, like due to work hours, and I know when reading the syllabus, it said, it will help with these Zoom meetings discussing material. I know you said there was one of the Zooms that would really help with like exam one and two, where you go over those question materials. Um, could we like email you like some of our questions, or if there's something that is there something that we can substitute that would get us the same information if we miss that Zoom, even though it's recorded, but maybe the question that we have isn't asked or discussed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what I would ask you to do is watch the video first.
Okay.
If it's for example, the one that I'm talking about is let's see, September 11th. I called it important. They're all important, or none of them are important, whatever way you want to look at it. Um, when I used to teach on campus, I used to teach this class on campus, and then it moved to hybrid, and COVID hit, and it came online, and then they said, "You want to just keep it online?" And I said, "Fine." Um, One of my students would miss a class, and they say, did I miss anything important? I'm like, well, I was there. If I'm there, it's important. If my mouth is moving, I consider it important. I really do. So when I say this is important, I kind of laughed at myself when I said it. But that September 11th at 5 o'clock p.m. I don't know what day of the week that is, but it's at 5 o'clock. If you can't make that at 5 o'clock, it'll be recorded, and by 5:30, it'll be there recorded because it's live streamed. Like this one right now is being live streamed on the class YouTube channel. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, there it is right there. See, it's a few seconds behind. It's always a few seconds behind, but I would advise you to subscribe to this channel as soon as the semester's over. Unsubscribe. Unless you just want to, let's see what he's talking to for future semester. I mean, you feel free, but you don't have to. Um, Anytime after 5, when it's done, it'll be available and recorded. Watch it first, and then if your questions, or if you've got a question that's remaining, fine, go ahead and ask me a question, email, text, whatever. Also, occasionally a student will say, look, I really like to have a meeting with you to discuss my exams, or I'll get a, gee, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, kind of thing. And I'll say, fine, we can meet. I will meet in person if it's absolutely, you just insist upon it. We can meet on campus. They've got a lot of classrooms that are available. I don't have an office on campus, but I'm close to the Health and Science building on Valleydale Road. My preference would be, I know people don't like these Zoom stuff and got sick of them, but my preference would be to set up a Zoom meeting. And I will tell you this, half the time when at least half the time when students have said, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and we go over their last exam, and I show them where the question came from and why the answer was that, and they're like, oh, the very last one I did last in the spring, the student told me and said, I think I just need to study a little harder. I get it. It's not that I'm missing something. There's tricks or anything like that. I'm not working hard enough. And their grades immediately jumped from that point forward. And I think that's why I try to scare people right off the bat in this class. It's not an easy class. It's a hard class. It's a hard class where you can do well, but it's a hard class. This is more like a math class than it is a history class. People study for it and they think it's like a history class where you have to memorize dates and things, and it's more like a math class where you have to understand how to apply math formulas and various mathematical principles in order to solve problems. In fact, little trivia note: a lot of people don't know which students, what student majors in college make the best law students. They think it's English students, people that are used to writing or whatever, because we do write a lot in law school. It's not, it's math majors. The brain is wired the same kind of way. If you're a math major and you're an engineer, that kind of person, um, and it helps you in applying and analyzing law. It's a logical kind of thing that they do that. That doesn't mean that English majors don't go in and just knock it out of the park in law school, because plenty do. But as a rule, the best ones generally are math majors. Not sure how in the world I got on that subject with that question, but
No, thank you.
that's me.
That helps. So, because
Okay, good, good.
I appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. Other questions from the students who are here? And thank y'all for showing up. I do prefer it if students show up for these things. I get that people work, they have other classes. There's just no way to make these Zoom classes convenient for everybody, and I'm not going to try. I'll just sprinkle it out and make it as convenient for me with variations as I can. But it does help if I have students that show up and ask some questions. Generally, the question that you ask is something that somebody else, another 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 students, had that same question in mind. I'm looking over my notes. I'm not just reading text messages, I promise. Making sure that I've covered everything I wanted to cover. When is the final exam? Do y'all know? Have you committed it to memory yet? December 10th. All right. Any final questions? Okay. Well, thank you all for attending this evening. Good luck this semester. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. Don't panic about things like the textbook just yet. If we don't have the textbook in place after I get back from my trip to Ohio, um, then we'll start to worry about it. But again, no questions come from the textbook. Students have never cracked the textbook and made an A in the class. It just, if I explain something like assumption of the risk doctrine and it doesn't make sense to you and you want to look it up in the textbook, it might be a way to do it. But with the internet these days, if the way I explain something doesn't resonate with you, you could probably find it on the internet just as well as the textbook. But I didn't say that because they sell the textbook and all that things. I just don't use it. All right. I'm going to wish y'all all a good night. Have a good semester. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. And I'll see y'all on August 28th at 12 o'clock. If you can't make it, check it out live on the class YouTube channel. Have a good night.